I have this theory about what is the perfect amount of hours to drive Uber or Lyft every week. Hear me out. My name is Levi. It's the tip you in the app Daily Drive. Today's Daily Drive is brought to you by Tonquin. Hey, with Tonquin, you deliver car parts, not people. And the Daily Drive is brought to you by Rideshare.tax. Hey, get your taxes done. It's important. And the Daily Drive is brought to you by Boom Rideshare Insurance. Okay, so here's my theory. It's just a theory. I'm sure you're going to disagree, but here's the amount of hours that I think are the best and worst amount to drive rideshare every single week. The first best time is like 3, 4, 5 hours. Like, put it over here. These people, the guys that do like 3 or 4 or 5 hours a week, super part-time. They just want to make a couple $100. It's fun. It's a side hustle. It's a gig. It's no big deal. They don't get stressed about things like bonuses. They don't really care about tracking their miles or just all the things that really consume a lot of the other drivers, like the full-time drivers, which, by the way, I think are the second best time to work. Like if you're driving 35, 40, 50 hours a week, granted, you're probably cynical, right? I know I am. That's kind of where I'm at. It's not as much fun as maybe these guys over here, but because you drive full time, you drive as many hours as you possibly can, you actually know how to make the most amount of money in the city that you drive. You drive the perfect times, you have the perfect car, you're efficient, you know how to pick the best trips to be profitable. You can master and exceed any bonuses if you want to do that. It's great. You still have a lot of fun if you get to, meet new passengers and you still have that kind of that same sense of the part-time people. But that's where I'm going with this. It's the people that are doing like 20 hours a week, the drivers that are part-time, but they're not like super part-time, like just 5 hours. They're transitioning from being just a gig worker trying to make a little bit of walking around money into somebody making more money. But there's a challenge with that. To drive 20 hours, you probably still have to have another job. And that job might, I don't know, force you to work hours, right? So if they're going to say you're going to work 40 hours a week, the 20 hours that you choose to drive as a rideshare driver are not maybe the best times. You just get to drive when you're available. So you're not having as much fun as these people, as the, 5 hours a week person, because you're trying to make more money. But you see the full-time drivers over here making more money, and you can't get there because 20 hours probably isn't enough to, get the bonuses. 20 hours that are limited in when you can drive means you're probably seeing surges and things like that while you're at your other job. It's just the inopportune amount. Rideshare as a gig is just set up for these two types of drivers, 5 hours, 40 hours. That middle ground is a tough place to be. That's my story. When I first started driving rideshare, it was like on my way to work and on the way home. It was great. I loved it. I would just basically drive into work by turning the app on. I do 1 or 2 trips on the way into work and get paid for my commute. And then when I get done with work, I would turn it on and do 1 or 2 rides on the way home. It was fantastic. Maybe on a Friday night, I did just a little bit more. I was driving roughly 5, maybe 10 hours a week if I got lucky. And it was just fun. And I had a little bit of pocket cash. I didn't really worry about depreciation. I didn't care about maintenance on my car. Because those miles, especially I was commuting, I was already doing those miles anyway. So whatever, right? And then I quit my job during COVID to become a writer and a content creator like this channel and create videos for other clients. And I thought Uber would be a more significant part of my income. So I started doing like 20 hours a week and 30 hours a week. And I did make some good money because I was still flexible with my schedule. But I saw the drivers making much more than me, the ones that were doing 40 plus hours a week, the ones here in the city. And I was, wow, I want to make that kind of money. But no matter what 20 hours I drove, I just wasn't quite able to do it. It was only when I committed to driving full-time, 30, 40 plus hours a week, that I kind of got back to that same sense of I'm mastering the city that I drive in. I know my clients and customers really well. I know which rides to pick. I'm getting all the bonuses. There you go. I'm back to where I was when I first started doing it. Okay, so I can hear you, you know. It's like I'm trying to convince you to drive more, and that's not what I'm getting at. I guess what I'm ultimately saying is the amount of hours that you drive, or when you drive, the times that you drive, are probably more of a factor in how much money that you can make than basically picking the right trips. I think that's what I'm kind of getting at. I was just thinking about it. It's just a theory. I don't know. Do you have a theory about it? What is the most amount of time, the best amount of time to drive rideshare? So again, 5 hours, it's just fun. And we see drivers like that all the time. They are gonna do this gig for 5, 10, 20 weeks maybe, and then they're gone. The flash in the pan. They don't have that baggage of Uber frustrations and angst that a lot of us full-time drivers have. And then the full-time drivers like you and me, even though we are frustrated by the apps, we think they should treat us better, etc. The fares are going down. The money's not as what we used to make. We still do it. We still like doing it. I know I do. And I can still know the best ways to make the most amount of money. But when I really struggled with rideshare was, again, that 20 hours. I just wasn't able to hit the bonuses. Well, I saw drivers making much more than me. I was tracking all my miles. I was doing all the work of a full-time driver, but I wasn't making the kind of money that I could make. I don't know. So what do you think? How many hours a week do you drive? If you could maximize your fun and enjoyment, your revenue, kind of hit all those things, peak everything. Are you a 5-hour driver? Maybe you're a 20-hour driver. You're doing better than I just said. Or are you a full-time person? Butt in the seat, 40 plus hours a week. Raise your hand if you're that kind of person. I hope you enjoy what you do. I hope you're safe. Know that I'm